to be honest, I really do not know how to emphasize on this anymore, because on daily basis, people are still falling victims of fake COSs, fake companies, non-existent. Like, the whole stuff is getting too much. I actually went for a talk show recently and I mentioned it. And everywhere I go to, the first thing they come with is, oh, Fajira, I've got some people that were scammed. I've got some people that someone left with their monies. They gave them fake COS. They were banned for 10 years. And guys, I really do not even know how to emphasize on this anymore, because I'd always said about people who pay for their COS. You have to be very careful, especially when you deal with the wrong person, because they are not just only going to get you into trouble, they will also make you illegal. And imagine when you get that kind of COS that is fake and you apply for a UK visa, the next thing is a 10 years ban. And once you get that 10 years ban on your record, the probability of you getting another UK visa is going to be a big problem. So these are things we have to be very careful. But at the same time, I'm grateful and happy about the way the UK government and also the Home Office is looking into this. They are beginning to pick up all of these people who are taking people's money. Just like in this update I'm about to share with you today. Illegal visa network marketing millions fleeing students. So just as you can see, this was published on the 2nd of September, which was just a few days ago. A global network has fleeced students out of tens of thousands of pounds for worthless visa documents they hope would enable them to work in the UK. If you came to study and you have completed your study, you still have 2 years. Like, you still have 2 years on your post-study work visa. So going to pay somebody whom you are not even sure of to get a COS, and at the end of the day they give you a fake COS. And now, not only that your visa will be refused, like I said, it comes with a 10 years ban. I don't see any reason why you should complete your studies and pay for a CS when you already have the 2 years post-study work. Now, a BBC investigation has found middlemen working as recruitment agents preyed on international students who wanted jobs in the care industry, and this is very common with care industry. So the student paid up to 17,000 each for sponsorship certificates that should have been free. That's what it's supposed to be, but unfortunately you hardly get a free one, except you're very patient and you're very determined and you apply for jobs, go for interviews, then you can now get a free CS without paying for. But if you're that person that you want everything quick, you just want the shortcut, then you end up paying. And if you pay the wrong person, then that's going to be your problem. So just as you can see, when they applied for skilled worker visas, their paperwork was rejected by the Home Office for being invalid. Because when a course is not valid, there is no way a visa will be granted on such course. That's to say, it's a fake COS. So as you can see, we have seen documentation that shows one man, Pemo Raza, sold 141 visa documents, most of which were worthless, for a total of £1.2 million. He denies doing anything wrong and he has paid back some of the money to the students. Now, Mr. Raz rented office and hired staff in the West Midlands and promised dozens of students work in care homes and employment sponsorship. We have been told he began selling legitimate documents and that a handful of students obtained visas and genuine jobs, but many more lost their entire service on worthless paperwork. Now, it's not everyone you see that you think he is a genuine person. For him to have rented the office and operate from his office, yeah, I think that's enough to convince anybody that this person is genuine. But at the same time, you don't just entrust people with that amount of money. To even make £1,000 in this country, you have to work. Like, you really have to work for it. Lots of people are victims of this, and I'm going to share what they have all said as well from what BBC have published. I'm trapped here. The BBC has spoken to 17 men and women who have lost thousands trying to obtain work visas. 3 of the students, all women in their 20s, paid out a total of 38,000 to different agents. I'm just wondering how they were able to get this amount of money. Because if you can work hard to get this amount of money, if you put in that same effort to work in an organization that has sponsorship, then they will be able to sponsor you for free. They said they have been sold a dream in their native India and that they would make their fortunes in England. I'm sure from the start, everyone would have thought that it was an African person that was doing this, but just to find out that it's not African this time. Instead, They had ended up penniless and too afraid to tell their families back home. "I am trapped here in England," Nila told the BBC. "If I do return, all of my family's savings would have been wasted." And as you can see, this is a picture of the guy who is involved in this, just as BBC has published. The UK's care sector, including care homes and agencies, had a record number of vacancies in 2022, which we all knew about, with 165,000 posts unfilled. I remember filming a video about this 2 years ago. Now, the government widened the net of recruitment by allowing international applications, leading to a boom in interest from the likes of India, Nigeria, and the Philippines. Applicants must have an eligible sponsor, such as a registered care home or agency, and job seekers should not have to pay a penny for their sponsorship. That's how it was in the past. But now things has changed. The sudden opening of this route has been exploited by middlemen, taking advantage of students looking to work full-time. Although the student we spoke to had made great attempts to remain in the UK legally, now they face being sent back to their country of origin. Like I said, that if you already have a 2 years post-study work, is enough time for you to sort yourself. Nadia, 21 and from India, arrived in the UK in 2021 on a study visa to complete a BA in computer science. After a year, she decided to look for a job instead of paying tuition fees of £22,000 a year. Now, a friend gave her the number for an agent who told Nadia he could provide the correct documents needed for a care work for £10,000. As you can see, she said the agent made her feel at ease and even told her she reminded him of his own relatives. "He told me I won't charge a lot of money from you because you look like my sister." You can imagine somebody that you want to collect money from looking like your sister. Then you shouldn't have collected the money. So Nadia, who lives in Wolverhampton, said she paid him £8,000 upfront and waited for 6 months for a document to arrive that stated she had worked at a care home in Warsaw. I directly called the care home and asked about my visa, but they said they did not provide any certificate of sponsorship because they already had full staff, Nadia said. Now, just to let you know that when you apply for a visa, the care home or the organization that gave you the sponsorship are not liable to approve the visa. It is from the home office. So if it's a genuine COS, then the visa automatically should be approved. But if it is not a genuine COS, then it will not be approved. So the agent blocked Nadia's call and she was advised to go to the police, but she told the BBC she was too scared to go to the police. Now, Nila, who is living in Birmingham, she said her family believe investing in a life in the UK would allow her to gain skills and earn more than in India. "My father-in-law was in the army. He trusted me with all his savings," she said. She visited a training agency in Wolverhampton to switch her student visa to the care one. "These agents were very polite," she said, and showed emails, letters, and copies of visas to prove. "These agents were very polite," she said, and showed emails, letters, and copies of visas to prove their legitimacy. Nila and the other students were totally convinced the men were going to change their lives. "The way in which they first met us, it's God's like. That's how much they win over our trust," she said. She paid 15,000 for documents that ended up being worthless and rejected by the Home Office, having already spent £15,000 of her family's money on her studies. Nila said her life had been destroyed. Those scammers are still roaming freely today. 86 students lost thousands. The BBC has learned that Taimur Raz, a Pakistani national who had been living in Wolverhampton and working in Birmingham, is at the top of one visa network. He approached recruitment agencies in the West Midlands and said he could arrange work in care homes and organize visa application for their clients. The BBC has seen a file full of sponsorship documents that Mr. Raz provided one agency for 141 applicants. Each person paid 10,000 and 20,000, and the total amount to £1.2 million. This is just one man's squad. We have verified that Mr. Raz was sending this sponsorship document as PDF files over WhatsApp. Now, of them, 86 received worthless paperwork that was rejected by the Home Office as invalid. A further 55 successfully obtained a visa, but the care homes they had been promised to work with said they had no record of the arrangement. So the BBC contacted Taimur Raz, who has been in Pakistan, since December 2023 to put the allegation to him. He responded to say the student claims were false and one-sided and that he had contacted his lawyers. He did not respond to our request for an interview. So you can imagine, like, it's always common. If you have been following me on this channel, I had filmed different videos and had always talked about once you come to the UK and find out that whoever you're working with, whoever owns the company does not reside there, you have to be very careful. Now, apart from that, he was busy enjoying this money. You can see him that this is a very long broadcast, but just to cut everything short, he opened an office, employed guys who earn up to £500 to £600 per week, which is a good money. And he also had a holiday, all expense paid, with them in Dubai. That was where one of them suspected that this money, they don't understand where it's coming from and what he is doing, the one that was interviewed. He has been living very well, spending as much as he likes, but you can see how many people that have been victims of what he's been doing. So this is just to remind you that irrespective of who you're dealing with, you have to be very careful. Some of the small agents were hairdressers and bus drivers who saw an opportunity to make money. Huge rise in visa application. This has been a 6-fold increase in application from students to obtain UK work visas, with over 26,000 between June 2022 to June 2023, up from 3,966 the year before. Most victims of this have not contacted the police because they're scared. They don't know what is going to happen. If you're a victim of this, I would suggest go to the police and speak to the police and let them know what has been happening, and they will advise you on what to do and how to handle it. But don't try to go and fight the person who took money from you yourself, because once you do that, they can report you for stalking. So you have to be very, very careful. This is a sad story because 141 students were refused, and not only that they were refused, they will be banned for 10 years. And this is a mistake that was not their fault. They actually paid for these COSs and they still got banned. Careful with who you're dealing with. I will leave the link to the register of licensed sponsors. Make sure you go through that link and be looking out for companies that are sponsoring, because once you're able to get a company that is sponsoring, you don't have to go through all this drama. And for those who are students, the annoying part of this story is that majority of the victims are students. If you're a student, you already have 2 years for your post-study work, which is enough, like, for you to be relaxed to look for a job in the UK. So when I came to the UK, they stopped the post-study work. I knew how bad I felt, but at the same time, here I am today. So please, don't be under pressure. When you're a student, you have managed to finish your studies, you will definitely get a free COS. This man now is in Pakistan saying his lawyer will. At the end of the day, what happens to the people that have got 10 years back? You know, so we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful. Be careful before you pay anybody money for anything. And especially when you're paying the money and you're not doing bank transaction, then it's a more problem for you in the UK, because you don't have any proof to say you actually gave this person that amount. Imagine this guy traveling and sending his own staff on all expense paid holiday in Dubai. That means he has made so much money, and he's also spending a lot for you to do an all expense paid holiday for your team. Then that's everybody will want to work in such organization. I would always say in my videos that whatever you do in this country, it could take time, but when it's time for it to come up, then it will come up. Be mindful of who you deal with. So this brings us to the end of today's video. When I saw this post, I said, no, let me still remind my viewers, stop paying people for COS. Stop. Provided you're in the UK, you will get a job. Just add driving to your skills. You will get a job that will give you free sponsorship. You don't have to pay anything, and you will get a job. Your mind will be at peace. You're doing your job. And just in case that company has a problem with Home Office, if they submit all the documents, Home Office will verify that they have hours, their staff are working, and they will reinstate the company's license. There is nothing as good as working in an organization that have got hours for you. Because once you're working in such organization, even if they did not meet Home Office compliance and they are able to submit all their documents to Home Office and they investigate further, they will find out that this company is a genuine company and not a fake company, and they will reinstate it. So just be watchful, be mindful of who you deal with. Not everybody you see is a COS agent. People have left their job to become COS and whatever. Just be careful, because They are criminals, they are gangs, they are taking people's money, and they know you can't do them anything, especially those who are overseas. Now they keep asking, oh, how will they cross over to come and fight me? They don't know that there is God who is in heaven that is watching all of this. You have taken money as an agent from somebody who is overseas, promising the person you bring them in, and you ate the money without doing anything. You think God sleep? God doesn't sleep. Even if they can't come over to fight you, if you're watching this video and you're one of those scammers, be careful, because there is God in heaven that sees everything, that will fight for them. So guys, this actually brings us to the end of today's video. Please like and share with your friends, because they need to hear this. They have to stop this and payment and all of that, especially if they're in the UK. They have to stop it now, not tomorrow. Very much for watching, and if you're yet to subscribe to join our beautiful family, please do hit on that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, so each time I upload a new video, you're definitely going to be the very first person to see that video. Until I see you in my next video, guys, do take care and have a lovely day. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye for now.